Hey everyone! Welcome to my Dublin adventure. I am so excited to show you around this amazing city. I'm exploring Dublin's coolest spots with the hop-on hop-off bus today. It is the easiest way to see everything without worrying about maps or directions. So let's go! First stop, Trinity College. This place is like stepping back in time with its cobblestone squares and grand old buildings. We are going inside to see the Book of Kells. It is this incredibly ornate manuscript, handwritten by monks centuries ago. The detail is unbelievable. Like those monks spent years just on one page. But even beyond the Book of Kells, the library itself is breathtaking. It is called the Long Room, and it is filled with these towering bookshelves that seem to stretch on forever. The smell of old paper and leather is intoxicating, like stepping into a different world. Trinity College is also a bustling university with students rushing to class, cycling through the squares and just hanging out on the lawns. It is no wonder Trinity College is one of Dublin's most iconic landmarks. Next up, we are off to Dublin Castle. It is right in the heart of the city, and while it is not exactly imposing from the outside, it has got centuries of stories hidden within its walls. For centuries, this place was the seat of British power in Ireland. We wandered through the state apartments, which are surprisingly grand and opulent. The gardens are pretty impressive too, a little oasis of calm in the middle of the bustling city. But my favourite part was definitely the Undercroft. It is this spooky underground space that dates back to the Viking times. It is amazing to think about how long these walls have been standing, witnessing the city change and grow around them. Dublin Castle really tells the story of Dublin itself. From its Viking roots to its time under British rule, and finally to its present as the capital of an independent Ireland. It is a powerful reminder of how much history this city has lived through. Next up is St. Patrick's Cathedral, a Dublin landmark that is seriously impressive. This place has been a place of worship for over 800 years. The architecture is absolutely stunning. All soaring ceilings and intricate stained glass windows. The way the light streams through those colourful windows, it is just magical. This is where St. Patrick himself is said to have baptised converts way back in the 5th century. Jonathan Swift, the author of Gulliver's Travels, was Dean of St. Patrick's. He is actually buried here too. They say the cathedral is haunted by the ghost of a former sexton who committed suicide. Whether you're religious or not, you cannot deny the sense of peace and history that permeates this place. It is definitely worth a visit. Next stop, another of Dublin's iconic cathedrals, Christ Church. This one is even older than St. Patrick's, dating back to the 11th century. The architecture here is incredible. All these massive stone arches and pillars that make you feel so small. The coolest part of the cathedral definitely was the crypt. It is one of the largest in Britain and Ireland, and it is like stepping back in time down there. They have got all sorts of fascinating artifacts down there, like ancient tombstones and even a mummified cat and rat. They say the mummified cat and rat were found behind the organ, which is terrifying and hilarious to me. It is like they hold all the secrets of the past. Alright, enough with churches and history for a bit. Let us talk about something everyone loves, Guinness. And where better to learn about this iconic Irish stout than at the Guinness Storehouse? It is shaped like a giant pint glass, which is pretty cool, and you get to learn all about the history of Guinness, from its humble beginnings to its global domination. We learned about the brewing process, the ingredients, and even got to try our hand at pouring the perfect pint. And of course, no trip to the Guinness Storehouse is complete without a trip to the Gravity Bar. This bar sits at the very top of the building and offers panoramic views over Dublin. The thing about Guinness is, it is more than just a drink here in Ireland. It is part of the culture, the history, the soul of the city. And tasting it right here in Dublin, where it all began, it just hits different, you know? It's smooth, it's creamy, it's Guinness. What's not to love? We are heading to Kilmainham Gaol, a former prison that played a central role in Ireland's fight for independence. Walking through the cold, echoing corridors of Kilmainham is a sobering experience. Our guide told us stories of the men and women imprisoned here, from ordinary people caught up in political turmoil to key figures in the Irish struggle for independence. Hearing their stories, seeing their tiny cells, it really brings history to life in a way that textbooks never could. The execution yard was especially poignant. It is the very spot where many Irish revolutionaries were executed by the British. Standing there, you cannot help but feel a sense of sadness, but also immense respect for their courage and sacrifice. Kilmainham represents a dark chapter in Irish history, but it is also a place of hope. It stands as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of hope, even in the darkest of times. Ready for a bit of a change of pace? Then let's head to Temple Bar. This neighbourhood is bursting with life, music, and that infectious Irish charm. Cobblestone streets lined with colourful pubs, the sound of traditional Irish music spilling out onto the street, the smell of hops and hearty food wafting through the air. Temple Bar is a feast for the senses. We wandered through the narrow streets, popping into pubs to soak up the atmosphere. We even caught a live music session, which was incredible. Temple Bar is definitely a touristy spot, but it has also got a lot of heart. We grabbed some fish and chips from a local chipper and enjoyed them by the River Liffey, watching the world go by. If you are looking for a taste of authentic Dublin nightlife, Temple Bar is the place to be. Time to put our history hats back on and head to the National Museum of Ireland. Archaeology. This museum is a treasure trove of artifacts and information about Ireland's past, dating back thousands of years. We started in the prehistoric Ireland exhibit, which was fascinating. They have all sorts of ancient artifacts on display, from Stone Age tools to Bronze Age weapons and jewellery. Next, we moved on to the Viking Age exhibit. Dublin was actually founded by Vikings, so this part of the museum is particularly interesting. They have a replica Viking house, weapons, jewellery, and even a Viking longship. One of my favourite exhibits was the one on the Ardagh chalice. This incredibly ornate chalice that dates back to the 8th century. The museum also has exhibits on medieval Ireland, early Christian Ireland, and even ancient Egypt. If you are a history buff like me, you could easily spend an entire day at the National Museum of Ireland. Archaeology. From ancient history to modern marvels, we are off to Dublin's Docklands, a once industrial area that's been transformed into a vibrant hub of modern architecture, cool restaurants and trendy apartments. Where there were once shipyards and warehouses, there are now gleaming office buildings, stylish apartments, and trendy restaurants. We strolled along the quays, admiring the sleek lines of the Samuel Beckett Bridge, a harp-shaped bridge that has become a symbol of Dublin's modern resurgence. We also checked out the Bord Gáis Energy Theatre, a stunningly modern building that hosts all sorts of performances, from musicals to plays to concerts. One of the coolest things about the Docklands is the contrast between the old and the new. You have got these historic buildings like the old warehouses, sitting side by side with sleek modern structures. The Docklands are definitely worth a visit for anyone who wants to experience the modern side of Dublin. It is a vibrant, dynamic area that is constantly evolving. Next up, we are diving into the story of the Irish diaspora at EPIC, the Irish Emigration Museum. This museum is not your typical stuffy history museum. It is a modern, interactive experience that tells the story of the millions of Irish people who emigrated around the world. Through interactive exhibits, personal stories, and even a genealogy section, EPIC explores the reasons why so many Irish people left their homeland and the impact they had on their new countries. We learned about the Irish who emigrated to America, Australia, Canada, and all over the world. One of the most impactful exhibits was the one on the Great Famine, a devastating period in Irish history that forced millions to flee the country. The museum does not shy away from the difficult parts of Irish history, but it also celebrates the strength and resilience of the Irish people. EPIC, the Irish Emigration Museum, is a must-see for anyone interested in Irish history, genealogy, or the immigrant experience in general. It is a powerful reminder of the connections that bind us all together, no matter where we come from. Before we completely wrap up, there is one last honourable mention that did not quite fit into our Dublin-focused adventure, but is too cool not to mention: the Game of Thrones studio tour at Linen Mill Studios. Now I know what you are thinking. This place is not exactly in Dublin and is not on the hop-on hop-off bus routes. But for any hardcore Game of Thrones fans out there, it is definitely worth the trip. You will get to see incredible sets, costumes and props from the series. Just imagine standing in Winterfell or King's Landing. And between you and me, I hated the ending of Game of Thrones. The series went downhill starting with season 5. but hey, the tour is still pretty epic. So if you find yourself with a bit more time and a love for Westeros, this might be the perfect side quest for you. Well, that was a whirlwind tour of Dublin. We packed in so much, from ancient history and solemn stories to modern marvels and lively pubs. Dublin really does have it all. I hope you enjoyed exploring this amazing city with me. Until next time, Slán go foil. That is goodbye for now in Irish.
Thank you for watching. Hope you found this video informative and entertaining. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment. We do like to know and hear your feedback. And if you have the means, please consider supporting us on Patreon, where you can get early access to our videos and where we post bonus material. Till next time, this is Geeky Tidbits saying cheers and have a good day.